Hello, Rick. How are you today? Guess what? I'm okay now. Welcome to the 90s Win podcast.
Wow.
I'm going to let you talk.
Welcome. We're talking about all things nostalgia. 90s.
90s stuff. The greatest decade.
Just
in
90s.
history. No. If you get out of that.
The 90s win. The 90s win. The 90s win.
Yeah.
The 90s win.
80s
90s
lose. 2000s lose.
All
2000s
things.
are pretty good.
Why do you think people like their childhood? They like to talk about. Like, I have a thing that I do, and my wife gets mad at me. I will walk into a room, people will be hanging out, and I'll be like, hey, babe, watch this. She's like, don't do the thing. And I'm like, watch. And then, it won't even be, like, relevant, but I'll be like, ha! Kind of like Doug. Patty mayonnaise, honker burger. They're like, what? And I just start talking about it, and then it just unravels. And then everyone just starts talking about it. And it's like people love to talk about that stuff. Why do you think that it is?
I think it's because when we're young, we get really invested in stuff. We have things that are like the most important thing to you when you're 8 years old is not near what the most important thing to you now is what? Career, wife, family, kids, like all that.
Most of this stuff.
This stuff is okay.
My Derek Jeter baseball card.
Yeah, but then that's what it
was like your world.
Your whole world was going to Walmart to buy a pack, and hopefully you get a Michael Jordan Birmingham Barons rookie card. Like you want to get
Michael Jordan, the famous baseball player.
The famous baseball player. That's what I wore my Jordan jersey in like a Tarver Academy on YouTube. Tarver Academy. Link in the bio. Maybe
link somewhere.
Come on now. I'm at Tyler Tarver, by the way. Don't retro. So if you want. What was I saying? Oh, I gave him a title, and it was Michael Jordan, and then I put, their title, I put semi-pro baseball player. It's like a small joke that nobody noticed or wasn't even that good.
Oh, it's a great joke.
Thanks,
I just
man.
did it. I didn't know you did that.
By the way, we need to talk about on a future podcast, my least favorite cartoon, my least favorite popular cartoon growing up was Doug. I absolutely hated it, and I have a reason. I actually wrote it in my first book. There was a synopsis on why it was the worst cartoon of the 90s. So we can talk about that another day. Today,
yeah, we're gonna need to because that's my favorite show.
Yeah, I know.
So
I remember hearing you say that on an episode.
I have a Quail Man shirt in that closet right there.
Yeah, and I can tell you why Quail Man is ridiculous and should not be allowed on television. So here's my thoughts. Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about comic strips.
I love Doug.
Not to be. Would you please? So help me if you bring up that underwear wearing psychopath. Okay, comic strips. Not to be confused with comics, because I was really into comic strips.
That's different.
In the 90s. Yes, for the love, do not do that. So I didn't read a ton of comics. I probably legitimately had, I'd say, probably 8 to 12 Calvin and Hobbes books. Oh. I had Foxtrot, Garfield, Far Side. I had all these, and I would read these comic strip books. They're the when you think of the Sunday papers, the comics, comic strips, like...
That's what I read. I read the Sunday comic. That's what I read.
Comic strips. Yeah, that's what I read. I read a ton. Well, they had them during the week, too, but then they would do the full color ones. Yeah, that's one of them. I never read it, but it was one of them. And so, was that the one you liked the most? Was Beetle Bailey? You're an Archie guy. Riverdale.
I read Beetle Bailey and Archie, but yeah, I mean, those were the ones. I didn't do the Hobbes. What was it?
Calvin and Hobbes? Mm-mm. Are you serious?
But I know, like, you could get those in, like, really nice books. I know I've seen those now.
Like the authoritative guide, and then like put them all in there. Yukon Ho was a book. They had like a ton of books.
Are comics still in the paper?
Yes,
because it's still a thing.
It's still a thing.
They're shutting down the paper, I think, in Conway.
Are you serious? Like
the
city
newspaper that we're close to.
They're shutting down the newspaper.
Yeah, or it's just Sunday. I think they're doing just Sunday now.
Really? Well, I guess that makes sense because the newspaper died like 12 years ago, like officially.
I know people that still get it.
Yeah, well, people
older.
get it.
I know they're older.
Like
I'm saying they read them.
Yeah, it's because that's what they're used to. Nostalgia.
There's a lot of discrepancy in this one. No Doug. We don't agree. We don't agree on a lot.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you that I can't believe you've never seen Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes
I know
was my favorite. If I picked
I know what it is. Ziggy?
That was
that
one.
Something too?
That was one.
These are older, though. These are all like 70s.
No, Ziggy. That's the thing with comic strips. They last for so long. And we talked about in one of our previous podcasts. You want to check out the old ones, the 90s Win podcast. We talk about how should a show have a lifespan, because once it goes too long, it's like they run out of stuff. Well, with comic strips, you got to think they're coming up with a new 3-frame thing every single day. 365 jokes or punchlines or whatever a year for 20, 30, 40 years. And that's like, at some point, like, yes, you can base off the characters. So it's like, oh, you like lasagna, you're Garfield, blah blah blah. It's a generic lasagna joke, and now they like make fun of it. But it's like those lifespans. Whereas Bill Watterson, who did Calvin and Hobbes, he saw that. So I think it was like he had a 10-year run or something maybe, and he ended it. Like he said, this is the last one. Like he had a lifespan because he felt like he had run his course, even though it was one of the more, in my opinion, intelligent comic strips. So I feel like the way it was a lot smarter. And I think, and you don't see a lot of series out of it. Like, sometimes in TV shows they're like, oh, we're going to Vegas, and it's like a 3-episode arc. Yeah. Well, now it's like with those comic strips, like if you do that, it's weird because it can pull them out of I can go in and read one comic strip. It's like, I don't know. I think those
do you get like, because they're almost all comic book strips. They're like the primary thing is to be funny.
Yes, most right? All of them. Yeah, some of them have stories, but yeah, it's to be funny. Like there was one Calvin and Hobbes
because they're short. You got to get to like the punchline.
Yeah, it's like 3 clips, maybe 4 little picture boxes you have to make the joke. And so, like I remember, have you ever like thrown those down to like your son and be like, try to make it, yeah. And like, what does he think? I think I gave it to him once, and I don't think he got like a page in. Like my oldest, he's 8. And he's very like, if I push it on him, he won't do it. Like he has to like find it himself and then get into it. Like if I push it at him, he's just like, no. Like he doesn't want to be forced to do anything. He wants to get it, walk around, get his eye on it, and then go in for the kill. Yeah. My son's a tiger, a liar.
He's a killer.
A tiger.
He's a lion killer.
He's a lion killer. Yeah, he's like a bunch of antelopes who team together. Do you remember that old video on, like it went around LimeWire for a while, but it was... throwback. It was like a buffalo, an alligator. There was a bunch of buffalo, and they were being attacked by like these lions. And then an alligator jumps out and grabs, like they're all trying to grab this like baby, like buffalo, and an alligator grabs it at some point, drags it in the water, and then it ends up surviving. But it's like all 3 of these animal groups fighting.
I don't know that.
You don't remember that? It was super popular on LimeWire for a while.
The only thing I know that I can't get my brain off of right now is the meme about LimeWire. It's a Simpsons. It's like the old grandpa, and he's like up on a hill, and there's like all the kids sitting in front of him, and it just says me trying to explain to these kids what LimeWire is.
LimeWire
was so funny.
Dude, LimeWire. What did you ever use it? Was that your main one?
Because like there was Napster.
You see, I got in right after Napster got caught. That's
really?
Whenever I started downloading. I remember I was in 8th grade at the baseball field, and Gary Fields goes, "Hey man, so do you ever use Napster?" And I'm like, "What is Napster?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I didn't understand what he was talking about, I didn't research it because there was no Google, and so I couldn't research it. And then I found out. I was like, "This is awesome!" And that's when they were like, "Shut her down."
I use Napster. I remember downloading so many Hobbes songs.
Hobbes, the reason is you.
Yeah,
that was solid.
Didn't he die?
Did he? Dude, I listened to that. Man, Hobbes thing. I saw them in concert. They were awesome in concert. They were at Lincoln Park. They played at Altel Arena. And
oh wait, Hobbes thing. I literally was thinking. I was thinking of Lincoln Park. That's literally who is.
Yeah, he died.
Lincoln Park.
Which I saw Lincoln Park, and the Hobbes thing was actually better than Lincoln Park in concert. Like the dude, like. I remember he did a cover of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Like, they're doing backflips. Like, they put on a show. It was the first concert I ever went to where, like, they're putting on a show. Then again, like, I'd only been to, like, a Willie Nelson concert.
Are they still around? What's Hobbes Saint doing?
I mean, they're probably doing, like, tours at small venues. But I remember I loved Hobbes Saint for a while. The Reason was good. They had that one. What was their
tour schedule? Non-existent.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm sorry, I got us off. We're talking about comics.
No, I like this. Let's talk about this. So yours, because there was Ares Galaxy was a download platform. You could do LimeWire, Napster. So yours was Napster?
Those are the only 2 I knew.
Okay.
Those are the only 2 that I ever used. And like by the time like LimeWire was going out, like I wasn't really downloading songs anymore.
You weren't?
No. I'm a physical media kind of guy. I like the CD. I like the compact disc.
You like the hood in your hands?
I like a good CD.
See, I'm like the guy that didn't have any money, so I would just go out and steal it all off the internet. So, like, I would do music, movies, TV shows, and real quick, so I was a senior in college, and I've downloaded. I mean, I think I had a file of like thousands of songs and shows. Like, I would watch all of Smallville, just like download the episode like 2 hours after it premiered. Huh?
So many thumb drives.
Oh my goodness, yes. You'd have to stick it on like your hard drive, like pull it, because you didn't want to. The trick was you didn't leave it in there and you didn't share it. So I was like the selfish one that didn't share it with more people because I didn't want to get caught. And so I would pull it all out of there and stick it on my like actual computer, and then I wasn't sharing anything, but I was taking all of the stuff. Well, I was a senior in college. My sister was a freshman at the same college, and so we went over and I was like, Chelsea, I was like, are you gonna get all this? You know, like, do you want to edit the song? She was like, I don't know. She's terrible at computers. She's like, I don't know what that is. She's like you, essentially, Microsoft Wording it, you know, in 2019. Right, and she got it, and I downloaded like 20 songs. Well, she got caught, and they fined her for over $600,000 for stealing. Like it was like $30,000 per song or $40,000 per song and like $100,000 per movie. And she only had like 20 something things, and I had like thousands, but she had left them in there. She didn't know, and she got caught, and they literally sued her for over $600,000. And
they sued your sister?
Yes, and she settled out of court for $4,000. And she was like 19 years old.
What?
I'm dead serious, bro. Because remember, that's the thing. Like, there's some music, there wasn't streaming, and they're like trying to get all these people.
Can they do that now?
They can, but it's like
everybody does.
All they
like
were
everybody,
but they don't steal it now. Now you get your music, you go to YouTube and you listen to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to download it. So like the copyright people didn't know how to handle it, so they're trying to target. But all the people they're catching are people that don't know how to do any technology. So like college kids and grandmothers. That's the only people they're catching. And so it's like then they I don't know. That was my thing.
Other than stealing songs. What did you this is kind of controversial. Did you ever steal anything when you were a kid?
Yeah, I used to change. Yes. Well, kind of. Every now and then. I did it like 3 times. I want to hear yours. But you asked me, so I'm going to say mine first. Yeah. Is that cool?
Go.
You're the breadwinner here, but I'm going to go with I used to swap out price tags every now. I did it like 3 times. I say that. I remember 2 times I did it. Moby, you remember him? The Moby CD where he's like jumping in the air.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I switched a sticker because it made it from $15 to $6, and I swapped the sticker on it, and they checked me out. And there was a Harry Potter keychain, and I still feel like I was on the right on this because it was in a discount bucket, but it didn't have the discount. So instead of $5, I was like, I think it's in the discount bucket, but there's no sticker, so I swapped a 50-cent sticker. So I got a keychain for 50 cents. Yeah. Still have it. Don't have the Moby CD. How about you?
Yeah, those are great. Those are great
thefts.
Things to thief.
Please don't. I'm sorry.
Thievery.
I'll pay you back.
I straight up stole, and
goodness.
I was like 8 or 9, and this was whenever stickers were really, really popping.
Dude,
in. Like the Peace Frog sticker.
Oh my goodness!
All the
give me 50 cents.
The basketball prism stickers, all those. And what I was doing, and I don't even know how I figured this out. There's no way I would have naturally knew to do this, but I would go to the number. It's 4. It's like when you push the quarters in, it's 2 quarters, or however much it was. And I pushed the thing in without quarters, and I pulled back, and I saw the little card because they came in cardboard.
Yep.
And
and it folded up
and it was like, and I saw it kind of like come out a little bit, and I was like, pulled it back again. And I start doing it, and the sticker starts to come out. It like inches its way out.
Yeah.
I walk out with like 30 stickers.
That's incredible.
I'm like this freaking weird little 8-year-old, like jamming the sticker machine.
You're like, it's like the Italian Job for kids. you're Mark Wahlberg.
Dude, and I walk out with all these dope NBA stickers. They were they were awesome. I loved them. But yeah, I'm a robber. I'm bad. I'm free.
You're a bad person, man. I remember there was a Coke machine. My mom she taught at the high school, so when I was elementary, we would go over there after school and have to like hang out forever.
Can we label this whole podcast stuff we stole?
Stuff we stole. I mean, I'm totally cool with that. Because it's definitely not talking about comic strips anymore.
No, quick.
And so I would go over there and I'd be like hanging around, and like all the older kids were there. Well, I was pretty like skinny when I was a kid, and they had a Coke machine at the school. Well, I realized I could reach my arm up and pull the Cokes out. Well, the older kid, I did it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Well, then the older kids found out, and they literally would use me as their, what is it?
I need a Mountain Dew stat.
Yeah, I would literally just be pulling Cokes out, stealing them from
what's
the
hilarious
machine.
is we had a guy, his name was David, that did that.
Yeah.
It was like everybody had the real skinny, lanky guy that could somehow get this elbow right up underneath it to be able to grab it off of the little like spirally thing.
Yep.
And when he's just like, for you?
Yep.
For you?
Dude, it was like Santa Claus for cola. That's what it was.
I had David, man. David did that.
See, I was that guy.
Another thing about David, this is really sad.
Oh no.
He was real flexible. See,
Oh no.
real skinny, real flexible, and he could do the crab thing where he put his legs
Oh.
over his neck. Well, he's doing his little crab walk, and the football players see him do it, and they knew like David's doing his crab walk. They go and grab the big trash can, and they throw it on top of him. On top of him, so he's stuck in crab position with the trash can, and then they put something on top, and they just leave him, man. They just leave David in crab position.
David's still there to this day.
Oh my
Eating that trash
gosh,
to stay
man.
alive. That's terrible. Why are the football players always the bad guys in like movies and high school? Like they're the meanest ones.
It's never the chess team.
No,
the chess team's just
it's never even the basketball team. Like it's always the football players that like just seek to humiliate and hurt people.
They're the toughest. They're the grittiest.
They're the meanest. Like I guess that's why they're attracted to the sport. So do you think that them as people are attracted to the sport because they like that, or? And I don't think it's like this anymore. I think now like kids are like super like hipstery and they still play sports, but or do you think it's because like that brings the aggression out in them? We're really getting deep here, man. Welcome to Psychology Podcast.
My thoughts on that.
I don't know.
It's
Maybe they're all
like,
nice.
Well, it's kind of like Beetle Bailey if you think about it. It's the same. As
There was a
Beetle
bully
Bailey.
in Calvin and Hobbes. There was a big bully on the playground that always picked on Calvin, and so I don't know, man. I actually wanted to do. I still might do it. I did I ever tell you I have a full body tiger costume for a grown up that I bought on Amazon like 6 months ago because I was gonna make a series.
How much was it?
It was like $40, I think.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say more than that.
No, it's not great.
Like a mascot costume.
I wanted to make a real life Calvin and Hobbes with my son, and I was gonna do it. I might do it. If you're hearing this idea, don't steal it. I'm copyrighted.
Have you
How's
ever
copyright work?
Have you ever? I had this idea. So I was helping with this event, and the event was we were showing Toy Story for like a bit, like a movie in the park.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, how can we market this? And I was like, what if, I don't know if they make them, but I bet they do. What if we bought like a Buzz Lightyear costume? We found a Buzz Lightyear costume for $300 on eBay.
It's pretty good.
And only up to 5'8". You could only, because it was like, you couldn't be taller than that to be in it.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
Oh, I'm 6'9".
It worked out. So my thought was, man, I wonder if people do this. Just buy like a full out costume and be like Buzz Lightyear at birthday parties.
Yes.
Be like, I charge $100. I will show up. I will never take my helmet off. But
I will
be
talk.
Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
I will take pictures. I will shake hands, and then I'll leave. And my costume's gonna stink probably after 4 times, but I'm gonna do it. Don't steal that idea either. That's a great idea.
Did you do it? The people do that.
I just feel they do.
Yes. You can literally like order somebody dressed like Elsa and come to birthday
kid.
parties.
I just had a kid.
Oh well, we've done that before. We've bought costumes for people to wear to our kids' birthday parties. Like Ezra had a Moana birthday party, and so we got one of my sister's dance team girls to we bought a costume. She dressed up Moana, and we rode her around in a canoe, and she came up and took pictures of the kids. So it's a great birthday thing, man.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, well, hopefully I can make that Calvin and Hobbes show before we do that. Garfield, one time with Garfield, I was so into it, I would read it during class in 6th grade, and my buddy and I were reading it, and Miss McDaniels was trying to teach, and we were in the very back, and we're just thinking that we're just because they used to come in these weird, long rectangle, and you could just flip it over and read a couple per page, so you're turning pages every 12 seconds. And we're sitting back there reading, and we'd already got in trouble a couple times for reading when she was teaching. She was talking about blabbing on about something like Charlie Brown teacher,
Boroville, right?
And
totally.
I remember it was the first time I ever got in trouble in class. I'm pretty sure.
Come on, dude.
Probably. I was a good kid. My mom was a teacher. I had to be good. And she yells, and she goes, "Put those books away! Y'all got detention for a week." She gave me
detention's a real thing.
Recess detention.
I never heard of it
For a week. And you know what we did in detention? Read our books. It's kind of nice. It was hot outside. Yeah, we just brought our books and read them during detention.
Did you watch any of the did you watch Garfield and Friends?
Yes, the cartoon, and then they would switch over. It was it would Garfield, and then it would do this farm cartoon. Do you remember that? It was these animals on a farm, and they would switch back to Garfield. So it was they would do this break in the middle. It was the same thing they did with Powerpuff Girls, where they do Secret Squirrel in the middle of Powerpuff Girls.
Oh yeah,
and they did that with some farm cartoon. I watched it, Garfield and Friends. It's on Netflix now. Yeah, and I think they brought back and done some more. And then they had the Garfield movie with Bill Murray, but I think that was in the 2000s. And it's funny that in Zombieland, we're when he's dying, they're like, "Do you have any regrets?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Maybe Garfield." And I thought that was a funny joke. Funny callback.
A pretty good game is Garfield on Super Nintendo, Sega.
Yeah.
Garfield.
Probably played it.
It's called Garfield Caught in the Act.
Oh wow, he's stealing lasagna, I bet, or hurting Odie. Like, how do you have that as your like? So now looking back, I'm like, those are so cheese. But then when you're a kid, you're like, oh, that's funny, and you're trying to make those jokes. And I just know my parents had to be like, Tyler, shut up. Like, I'm sick of hearing you make these dumb lasagna jokes that you regurgitate from your comic strips. And I was like, nowhere did you have a girlfriend until like 9th grade. So yeah,
This isn't comic, but did you like? It makes me think of it because you said I keep forgetting what you say. Hobbes. What's
Calvin and Hobbes. Really hurting that you don't know it.
Yeah, I know, man. It's bad. So they had like the books. It's not comic book, but it's somewhat related. I was really into like Where's Waldo books.
Oh, me too. Yeah, those are good.
I really liked Where Waldo books are, which is kind of at a certain point. It's like if it's 20 pages and you found him, it's like I know where he is. Like I know where he is at every time.
Yeah. What was your go-to like whenever you were like, oh, I don't know. Like, you've been looking for a while and you didn't just see it? What did you do? Did you do the thing where you scan, you start at the top and you scan back and forth until you see it?
I do. I would always break it up into like quadrants of 4. And I would like I started from the left and I would just like I know where each spot was.
That's good.
And I would do it.
That's solid, man.
I have a Where's Waldo thermos over there.
That means a lot to me that you have that.
I really like it.
So proud of that. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much everything that we can talk about with comic strips.
Comics.
You did so great, Rick.
This one honestly was really tough for me. Tyler had to talk a lot, not because he wanted to, but because I just didn't know.
Well, we ended up talking about LimeWire for a solid 9 minutes. So, like, half of this is stealing things. Like us confessing to...
Stuff we stole.
Stuff we stole. That's pretty solid. Stuff we stole in the 90s. That sounds like a good podcast we should start. What if we just... Every episode we change the name of the podcast? Like the actual name. Well, until we change it, welcome to the 90s Win. I'm Tyler.
I'm Retro.
Retro Rick.
I'm Retro.
What if you're Retro Dave? Retro Jeff?
No, it's a thing that's happening. So, Throwback Tyler.
Well, I'm not Throwback Tyler. I'm Tyler Tarver. You can check me out on Instagram. # swipe up the movie. Starring Retro Rick. You guys be good. If y'all don't mind, it would really mean a lot to us if you go to rate us 5 stars in iTunes.
Oh, yeah.
We need to ask people to do stuff. We don't ask them to do anything. Thank you for listening. Y'all are the best. The people that are out there. Y'all be good. Stay safe.